whatever words are uttered by him, they have their foundation and base in Wahi. In huwa illa wahyu yuha can only mean it has its foundation in Wahi. Not that every word he says is a Wahi. Because obviously it is known that sometimes he advised people on their private worldly matters, and the advice was accepted but did not bear fruit. When they came and asked Huzur Akram Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam about it, he said, I am a prophet, I speak of religious truths. These worldly affairs belong to you, and you should have told me when I advised you on this and that. In fact, it was about the transplantation of date palms. So, such obviously then, that was not a wahi. So, nutq here does not apply to everything what he said. Here again it will have to be modified in the sense that whatever he speaks about religion, about spirituality, about morality, all that is about the conduct of life of man, that has its roots in Wahi. Now this interpretation can be further divided into two sections. Number one, he is positively told about these things from Allah, that you should say this and you should say that, or do not say this or do not say that. That is to say, each talk he is holding, each conversation he is holding, is constantly being guided by some angels or somehow by Allah, and each sentence which he speaks from Allah. That is one possibility. The other is that wherever necessary, he is guided. But the guidance of the Holy Quran has enlightened him so deeply and so thoroughly that whatever he says is obviously based on Wahi. And he says in the light of that, where there is any danger of his not knowing what to say, then Allah positively takes the responsibility on himself to guide him through Wahi. And this is the interpretation which is acceptable to me, because this is exactly what we find in the life history of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Whatever he says is definitely positively based on the Holy Quran, and we can trace his traditions back to certain verses if we apply some labor and concentration. And secondly, it was his habit that sometimes when he could not say something positively, he would wait until the Wahi came. And it happened many a time. In case of Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anha, he waited for a month until Allah himself absolved her of all that false allegation and cleared her. So in some other places we find the mention of somebody asking a question and he's waiting for some time until Allah gave him the answer. So that would be the most sensible explanation of this verse, that whatever he speaks in ordinary life is based on the Holy Quran, because he has been enlightened by the Holy Quran. And he doesn't have to ask each time, what should I say about this and what should I say about that. But wherever in doubt, or something new which was never revealed to him has come up before him, then Allah always guides him, and again whatever he answers or says or comments is based on Wahi. Not necessarily the Quranic Wahi, but independent Wahi of the Holy Quran.
You just mentioned about the Hazrat Aisha and Surah Nur, but I am still surprised that the Shia people still say all those accusations about the
Yes. Do they?
Yes. And they still
do you have any written record?
I have not read in any book, but nearly many of my friends which are Shia, but once upon a time they really came to my wife and they told us so many lies about their Aisha Radhiyallahu anha.
What a shame, this is
And
absolutely...
they still do.
And they are still Muslims.
2 or 3 people, I just shown them the Surah An-Nur and told them everything, but they still insist.
But I think it's not an official
I do not know, sir.
religion, I mean official formal religion. Some individuals may have gone to some extreme. You know, these other sects are not so well organized and governed by a central eye, as Jamaat Ahmadiyya is. So there is so much individualism. Maybe some people are filthy-minded and they still do say that. I don't think officially the Shias believe in such things. If they do, it's most shocking. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Hazur, Assalamu alaikum.
And after your question, perhaps you would throw some light. You have lived so long among Shias.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, please.
Hazur, my question is in 2 parts. The first one I wanted to ask Hazur about the original manuscripts of the Promised Messiah, if they have been preserved through modern methods. And the second part is about Promised Messiah's garments, about which there is a great prophecy that the coming kings and head of states or whoever will join the community will seek blessing through those garments. Are those garments been preserved as well?
Yes. The answer to both these questions is yes. Whatever we had in the library, in the possession of Jamaat Ahmadiyya, measures were taken with in consultation with experts to preserve those blessed remnants of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam. And the documents and the books, everything has been fully laminated after having been medically treated. But those tabarrukat of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, which are individually held by different people, about that we can't do anything. It's up to everybody, every Ahmadi, to either deposit them in Jamaat's custody or to see to it that they are well preserved. It's after he explains about the Shias, the attitude towards Hazrat Aisha Siddiqa radhiyallahu anha. After that,
As you have said, the official status remains that they won't contradict what has been said in Quran Majid.
yes.
This is the official, so the widest knowledge. But generally the people, they are against Hazrat Aisha.
That is different.
But that's
we know
different
that.
due to opposition to Hazrat Ali.
But about that particular filthy allegation,
Well, that's not official status, I don't think so.
no, unofficially, do some people still
I have
believe?
not heard
You
a
never.
responsible person
Right.
saying so.
Jazakumullah. Thank you for clearing their position, because that was very obnoxious to say the least. Yes, please. Right, Sam.
I have almost 3 things to request to be clarified by you, sir. First,
You have gone one ahead of Rashid Sahib and Bashir Yad Sahib, progressing very fast. You have gone one ahead of them. They generally ask 2 questions together.
I'll ask 3.
So you better ask one first. We'll see about the second and third later on.
What exactly Quran Kareem means by Mali Ghanimat, infaq? 1. Secondly, should I ask now or afterwards?
Is it connected with this Mala Ghanimat? Oh, please say that's enough. Mala Ghanimat exactly means war spoils. You asked your question, I'll come to the second question later on. Yes, please. No. Bashir Yad Sahib. You know, he's feeling very restive. Let me give him a chance first. He's extremely restive now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.